Most times, city building games will test you not just in terms of the buildings you can make, but the locations you have to build on. In Laysara's Summit Kingdom, for example, you are trying to help a group of people who are forced out of the more flatlands of the area and onto a summit. As such, you'll have to learn to build up your new kingdom by working around the mountain itself to build up your towns. Each mountain has its own pluses and minuses, and if you can adapt to them and work them well, you'll be able to live happily. Until the next disaster comes, that is. Viking City Builder focuses on a period of history where the Vikings set out to conquer lands throughout Europe in order to grow their reach. You'll actually be one of those Viking leaders and have to build up your clan's territory where you land with your ships. Be warned though, you're not just building up a city, you're building an army. Because the game will have you facing the European armies in order to prove your might as a nation. No, this is not a Stardew Valley knockoff. You have some very different things to do here in Pixelshire. For example, here you're not just minding a farm, you're taking care of a whole town in the process. You get to craft both in order to make the perfect place to live. That may sound hard, but there's another element to this, and that's that you can terraform the area to make it what you want it to be. There are plenty of skills and abilities to use and master as you craft your new life. So start building and see what comes next. Here's a fun twist on the classic legend. Atlantis is a long-told mystery about a city that sat on the ocean and was sunk by the gods, or nature itself, for being too grand. Now though, the city has mysteriously resurfaced, and it's up to you to restore the kingdom to its former glory by rebuilding what was lost. This time around, it's not just about making the city, but protecting the city from threats like tidal waves so that it doesn't sink again. You'll also need to be mindful of how you build Atlantis up, because making certain wrong moves can ensure that the society dies. The Pharaoh games have actually been around for a while. Pharaoh: A New Era is a rebuild of it though, so that you can experience the game with modern amenities and advancements. You'll be set in a key time in Egyptian history, and it'll be by your guiding hand whether things go well for the nation on the sands or not. Build your sprawling kingdom and ensure that it expands deeper into the deserts. Build mighty monuments to yourself and to the gods, all the while completing various story missions and challenges. You might have noticed that when you make certain cities in certain games, you have a rigid way of doing it. You place the things on grids and can only build up from there. But in Manor Lords, they take a more organic approach to it. You'll have full ability to build, rotate, and construct on the various lands you're on without issue, all the while having to be mindful of how you construct things so that your cities can grow naturally. All the while, you'll have to participate in medieval battles. So as you can see, Manor Lords has a lot going on with it.
Some say we betrayed our brothers.
The first Frostpunk game was a revelation in many ways in how it changed how you perceived the basic city building game. Now, Frostpunk 2 looks to expand that in various ways, while also maintaining its core dynamic. You're still in a frozen world, and you will be in charge of a city that is trying to manage the little heat source that the place is built upon. But there are various factions who are trying to vie for power as you attempt to grow and expand.
Man has ever been able to conquer these horrid lands, filled with vile demons.
Inspired by Slavic folklore, in Gord, you'll take the role of leader in a group of people known as the Tribe of the Dawn. By your guiding hand, you're going to not just make their homes, but you'll have the ability to shape who they are at their core, because you'll go on quests that'll affect them in big and small ways, such as their physical and mental well-being, and how well they get along with one another in the community itself. Your actions will determine survival on many levels in Gord, so be ready to handle things the best you can, or pay the price. Builders of Egypt will put you in Egypt, obviously, during one of the very earliest periods of their history. You'll literally get to help build the old Egypt and then follow its history all the way up until the death of Cleopatra. So you're getting a history lesson while you build an empire. How you build things, though, will affect the success of your kingdom. So be wise, be careful, and be strategic. Egypt is depending on you after all to make a land that is worthy of the gods. Builders of Greece will have you trying to make your own mighty empire in the islands of Greece, clearly, and it'll be up to you to not just make it long-lasting, but profitable. You'll need to not just plan out your cities with great precision, but ensure that trade is a dominant part of your culture so that you can build and grow in various ways. But do not ignore the people of Greece. They are one of your greatest resources, and you'll need to be on their good side to help make things work at times. Next up are the builders of China, where you will try to establish a long-lasting dynasty in China. Specifically, you will be in the Middle Kingdom, which presents both opportunity and challenge. Well, the terrain of some regions in the kingdom is not the best. Therefore, you will have to work hard to overcome building the dynasty you need. But be careful, there is always politics going on in kingdoms like China, including the one you built. You will need to pay attention to what you need to do and ignore the troublemakers so that you can focus on what you need to do. Terra Nil is a game that is actually rather unique compared to virtually every other game we've talked about here. Because the game isn't about building up a city, it's about building back up an environment from the pollution and harm that has come from cities. Every area that you go to will have a different set of challenges for you. From cleaning up the water supply, to changing the environment for the better, cleaning up the air, and so on. No two playthroughs will be the same due to how unique each area is going to be in its challenges. It's another game about building an empire in China. Celestial Empire will let you set up shop, if you will, in various areas of China. You can be in a forest area, a coastal setting, or somewhere else entirely. You'll need to start small and build up whatever you want in order to create your empire. But be warned, it won't be easy to maintain the empire if you don't build it the right way, as well as protect it from natural and man-made problems that will come your way. Going for a more low-key setting, the Constructors will put you in a town that is set for reconstruction. You'll head up the construction company set up to do the building, and as the boss, you have to control everything and build the city back to its former glory. But how you do that is up to you from top to bottom. You'll decide the materials to use on things, how to construct certain rooms for things like apartments, and even have to deal with the local people if they're exactly your fans. Will you be able to overcome the challenges of making a city? You'll find out soon enough. Finally, imagine you had to build a city not in a random place, but in the farthest places of the maps of our world. In Farthest Frontier, you will be in charge of a group of people who are outcast and must remake their lives on the literal edge of the map. You must help them survive and then thrive. The game has one of the deepest farming systems you'll ever see, and the people of your village will actually live their lives as you grow all that's around them. You can do a standard playthrough and deal with all sorts of threats. Or, you can do a no-fighting run and focus just on the city building.